Hello to all you lovely people out there in the dark. My name is Christi Dortch. I'm the Executive Vice President of Programming and Sales for the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. I'm very happy to be here with you today. What I'm doing is answering a few questions about our upcoming 2018-19 Broadway season, and of course one little nugget for our 2019-2020 season. So the first question I have is, how long does it take to plan a season, and how do you pick the shows and dates? That is a very big puzzle that we spend years and years putting together. So I will use the example of the nugget from our 1920 season that we announced this week, which is that we will be getting Hamilton. We have been talking about our booking of Hamilton here in Nashville since the show opened in New York, in Broadway in 2015 actually. So it's a very long process, and it's all about routing across the US and how shows are going to fit. And for us, it's a very curatorial process. And what I mean by that is we're really looking to represent as much of our community as possible. We're looking for our season to be very diverse, everything from family to the avant-garde to something new that you wouldn't expect to something that's a classic. So we really are trying to cover all those bases. The pipeline is really rich for Broadway right now. There are a lot of shows out on the road, which is a fantastic problem to have. And we are very fortunate that we're able to look at our seasons 3 and 4 years out. I'm actually planning seasons that are 3 and 4 years out, so it's very hard for me to remember what we just announced on Tuesday, because I haven't been doing that for a while. So how do we pick the dates for the shows? It's all about routing. It's about where it's going when and how the markets fit and travel time. The poor general managers and agents in New York have to really look at how many miles are between each city and how long do they have to load in a show, and they have to put this very intricate chart together to figure out how one show can get to the next city and do they have time. So it's about having the dates available when they're coming in your area. Next question. How often do you travel to see Broadway shows? I am very lucky, and I travel to see Broadway shows between 5 and 7 times a year. What qualities do you look for in a show when choosing what comes to Nashville? Well, interesting question. The easiest part of that answer would be if it is nominated and/or won a Tony, I'm looking at it. If it is something new that I think could speak well to our community, we're looking at that. So we're identifying shows, not just in New York, because there are a lot of shows that are pre-Broadway runs that we can catch in other parts of America and be part of the launching pad for their steps to Broadway. So we really are looking for high quality shows that offer a different perspective, or it could be a new production of a faithful classic that we see has a lot of pizzazz and a lot of energy to bring in a new audience. Ron asked, how do you decide if it will be a special or on season? Okay, the easy answer to that question is we try to have 8 shows on our subscription series now, and then we try to have between 10 and 15 weeks of Broadway. So by that I mean 10 to 15 shows, or shows that can make up 15 weeks of Broadway. So a show that's going to be a special very likely is something that has been here before, and or it could be a show, if you've been with us for any period of time, you know the first time Book of Mormon came through our market. It hadn't been here before, of course, but we made it a special. And we made it a special very purposefully because we knew that that was going to be a hot ticket for single ticket buyers, and it might not necessarily fit the model of our subscription. So we made the decision to put that by itself because we knew it had enough interest that it could sell without that subscription load in. And I'm realizing now as I answer that question, I probably just threw out a term none of you know, which is subscription load in. What that means for producers is how many subscribers do you have in your house? That is a very important number to our producers and agents, because it tells them, do you have half of your house already sold on subscription and we're just worried about selling the other half on groups and single tickets? So when we're looking at the big blockbuster shows, or when we're looking at things like Book of Mormon as a special event, we also weigh what's our subscription base, how many subscribers do we have dedicated to coming to our shows, and that helps us leverage how quickly shows can get to us. So that subscription base is really important to all of us and is one of the determining factors in if something is on subscription is our special event. Do you pick the show or does the show pick you? I really like that question because it kind of is dating. Broadway booking shows is sort of like dating because you're building relationships with all these people. And we have spent years not only building those relationships in person with Broadway agents and producers, but also by investing in the pipeline, by investing money in productions in New York, by investing tours that go out, by investing in shows that are in the UK. And it's all about building that relationship. So sometimes the shows pick you because they know that it's right for your market. Sometimes it's a little of both, and we really chase. And I chase a lot of shows. I guess I'm a desperate dater in that respect. But it is a little bit of both. Especially with the growth of Nashville, I will say a lot of people are picking us. John has asked, why does Hamilton always announce a season before it comes? John, that is a great question. That is not an unpopular pattern. Your big blockbusters tend to do that. Wicked did that. If memory serves me in my long term here, I believe the first time Lion King came through, they did that. The reason a lot of those giant shows will announce a year in advance is because they're trying to build the energy in the market so that people can plan. With a giant show like Hamilton, it's playing multiple weeks everywhere it goes. So they're really looking to let the community know it is coming to your market. If you want to see it in another market, go for it. But you will be getting it. So they're just trying to give people time to plan. Linda asked, why the recent trend of scheduling 2 shows during June? I believe there's another question on here about scheduling during CMA Fest. Scheduling is fun. If we travel back to the first question of how do you plan it and what show dates do you get? It's about the routing. It's about when the show is going to be in our area. We are very aware of what's going on in our community, but let's think about the growth of our community, and there's so many activities happening every single day. If we tried to schedule around the activities in our city, we might not ever bring Broadway. The real plus is I recognize that it's happening. We're doing more and more shows in June because the Broadway pipeline is now going year-round. It used to follow kind of an academic calendar of September to June, and then it would stop. But it's going year-round now. And we're taking advantage of that because it lets us bring more shows into the market. The plus is we're on the top of the Capitol campus, top of downtown. So we have all this great parking over on Charlotte and James Robertson Parkway and all this great parking that's available that the CMA folks are using the south part of Nashville and we're using the top part of Nashville. So come on down. It won't impact you. Let's see. Oh, how come Phantom of the Opera and Book of Mormon are coming back this year? Followed up by I Love Phantom of the Opera. Glad you love it. This new version of Phantom, since you love Phantom of the Opera, Mindy, you probably know that when we brought it in 2016, it was the new reimagined Phantom of the Opera. Cameron Mackintosh himself went back into his own show and redeveloped the show in a fantastic new way. We are bringing it back for 2 reasons. The first is we close out this year's season in June with Love Never Dies, which is the follow-up to Phantom of the Opera. If you don't have your tickets, you should get them soon. It's selling well. So we wanted to bring Phantom of the Opera back as a follow-up to having Love Never Dies here so that people could see the original again, because we really believe Love Never Dies will bring us a new audience for Phantom. But also, I'm really surprised we got it back this quick. I'm delighted we got it back this quick because in 2016 we sold out the 2 weeks that we had and a lot of people didn't get to see the show. So we're really excited to bring it back again as a special. So the 2 weeks are open to everyone, and hopefully we'll get all those people in who missed it last time or people who want to see it again. As far as Book of Mormon, it sells out every time it comes, and people are still itching to see it. So we'll keep bringing it back as long as people are interested. April. Oh, April's asking the $20 million questions that I can't answer. How long will Hamilton run? When will we have specific dates? What will be the process for getting tickets? I can answer part of that. We will be talking about the dates in the next couple of months, probably 8 to 10 months. If you've been following Hamilton at all, you know that they have a pattern, a very well established pattern. They announce that they're coming to a market a year out, and then with that season, so that's in our 1920 season, so with the announcement of 1920, we will then tell the dates. I can tell you that it's coming for multiple weeks, so it will be here for a little bit. Not long enough in my opinion, but it will be here for a little bit. The process for getting tickets, the best way to do it, and this is another reason that Blockbusters give you over a year notice, is because the best way to get your tickets is to buy for the 2018-19 season and become a season ticket holder. Season ticket holders, one of the perks of being a season ticket holder is you always get alerted first when additional shows or new products go on sale. And so it's your first way into that spot to get a ticket for Hamilton. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's a great 8-show season. I highly recommend it. And I will do a little tease in that you will not be disappointed in the other things that are going to be on 1920. I'm just telling you now, you should really get your season tickets. Anyway, Brad, what is a show you would love to bring to Nashville audiences? Wow. I have a couple of answers to that. I genuinely am delighted with everything we get to bring through our market because it offers something to all parts of our community, and that's really important to me, especially working for a nonprofit organization whose mission is arts and education. So anything we can do to bring art to the masses, anybody and everybody, it doesn't mean everybody's going to love it, but something for everyone, that's really important to me. I will tell you, I was very much on the bandwagon. We were trying to be a launch city for Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, and sadly that's not going on tour. It was a beautiful show, but what a challenging show to figure out how to take on the road. I still have high hopes that eventually it will come around. That would be the one that I would probably want to bring. The other thing that I love bringing to audiences is something we've done for the last 2 years, which is producing new work. We are not producing a new work on our season this year, but it's not because we're not working on something. We actually have 2 products that we are helping develop, and I'm very excited to tell you that both of them are growing out of Nashville talent, and that's a very exciting element to what we're trying to do to lift local art. Hopefully you'll hear more about that in the next 6 to 8 months. And then I think we have one more question on here. As a season ticket holder, do you have to buy add-on shows when you renew your subscription to get the special price? No, but you should. The add-on shows, I'm going to pull my cheat sheet over so I can make sure I tell you the right things. Our add-on shows are Phantom, White Christmas, Book of Mormon, and Rock of Ages. We also have another add-on that we're going to be announcing very soon. And you don't have to buy those, but as a season ticket holder, you get first rights to buy them. So it's a perk to get those in advance of everyone else. I think that's all the questions I have. Do we have any new ones, Alex?
I think people are just very excited that you took time to talk with us today. And I guess lastly, they want to know, with the new production of Miss Saigon, is it going to be just like the one that is just finished up on Broadway?
It is. Very good question. And the new one that was on Broadway, once again, was reimagined. So they've made some changes. So if you saw the show when it was here, wow, it was last year, 15 years ago, 18 years ago? It's been a while. It's still the same show. You're still going to love it. But there's some new visual elements to it that are just beautiful and bold and really statement making that I think you'll enjoy. And I'm just going to address it even though nobody asked. But there has been a lot of controversy swirling around the Broadway world lately about that and carousel and some of the themes that are in shows. And it's interesting, one of the things that I really love about live art is that it offers you an opportunity for a second to step out of your world and step into someone else's world. So though it may not be topics we're comfortable with, it may not be topics that we're dealing with anymore, it's topics that offers us relevance and a point of reference for how we got to where we are today. And I think that is oh so important. And Miss Saigon may not represent what people want to be seen of that part of the world, but it represents that one soldier's point of view during a very hard time, both on his homeland and for these people on their homeland. And it's one person's perspective of what happened during that time. It doesn't mean it's the only perspective, and it doesn't mean it's the right perspective, but it gives you a moment to step out of your world and see someone else's vision. So I encourage you, even on things that might challenge you or be less than comfortable, take a risk. You may not like it, but you may get a moment to see things a bit differently. I hope you all will come to our 18-19 season. We are so very excited. We have 2 more shows this season, Waitress and Love Never Dies. Please come out. Talk to you soon.